This neighbor to the south, U.S., is having issues with its broadcasting stations as NPR and public stations are suing the Trump administration over the move to end its federal funding there. We talked about earlier Harvard losing federal funding and a lot of fast factors. NPR launched a lawsuit yesterday. Both National Public Radio and 3 Colorado-based public radio stations themselves filed a federal lawsuit against Trump and the administration. The suit challenges Executive Order 14290, signed on May the 1st, directing Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or CPB, and all federal agencies to cease funding to NPR and Public Broadcasting Service, or PBS. The plaintiffs argue that it violates the First Amendment by retaliating against public broadcasters for content the administration deems unfavorable and infringes upon Congress's exclusivity to authorize allocate its federal funds. That big jumble mess means that Congress has the right to pull money, not the president, and they're just doing it because the president is mad because they say things he doesn't like. The executive order was titled Ending Taxpayer Subsidization of Biased Media. It alleged that public funding for news programming is outdated and undermines journalistic independence. Basically, if the state, being the actual people and taxpayers, pay for some sort of news coverage, and that news coverage is biased, it is a bad thing. It should be independent of any funding or any laws, anything that should be posed by the governments. So it should be independent, period, and should figure out a way to pay for itself. It targets NPR and PBS specifically because it accuses them of bias in reporting directly. In their response, these Colorado stations and NPR are contending that the order is a direct attack on press freedom and overreach of executive power. They should, in fact, in administration, fund some sort of broadcasting unit and some sort of news division to do some news, to report things as they are, even if those reports don't quite make the people paying the bill happy, which is sort of the point. They emphasize that CPB operates as a private nonprofit corporation, actually independent of federal government, and the funding decisions are insulated from political influence. The NPR president and CEO, Catherine Maher, described the executive order as a, quote, politically motivated act of retaliation, in the quote, and that it threatens the editorial independence of public media. Lawsuit underscores the concerns that the order could disrupt essential services provided by public broadcasters, which includes emergency alert services and educational programming. And in some places, it's the only sort of broadcasting you can get. Emergency programming is an important thing. NPR receives about 1% of its funding from CPB, so it shouldn't seem like much. But many local stations, particularly rural ones, rely heavily on that 1% when they don't have large donors to give to the action. This legal action in particular is part of the broader pattern of tension between Trump and the media itself, all organizations. As basically the administration from previous and current have accused the media of being biased and having patterns of just not liking what the government's doing. They attack back, and Trump attacks fairly hard. In this case, this administration, he's attacking hard on the wallet side, on the budgets that may actually do something to maintain his control of the state media and how it's being said in the processes. There'll still be independent media. This is a world, this is a time where so many people are on YouTube just saying things that are going against the narrative put out by Catherine Levitt. But we'll see if they can support themselves going forward, if they actually can keep things going up as private enterprises, because unless somebody's paying them to get their bills paid, they have to get their bills paid.